Good morning, everybody. Today I would like to talk about two of the spiritual laws of the universe, the law of divine oneness and the law of correspondence, and how you can use these two laws and how I have used these two laws in my life and how you can use it in your life to manifest your soulmate and to cultivate a happy and fulfilling loving relationship. The first of the 12 spiritual laws of the universe is called the divine law of oneness, and this is very, very important because it says that everything and everyone, everybody on this planet, everything, you, me, every plant, every animal, we are all interconnected. Okay? So this means that we are all interconnected by an infinite field of energy that pervades everything and interconnects everything. So it means we are all one. Okay? So the reason why this law is very important is because it clearly explains that it's important to perceive this interconnection. Okay, so it's not something that we can understand at logic level. Our logical mind is not able to understand that. So it needs to be perceived by us in the depth of our being. Okay, because the problem is that our logical mind tends to look at reality, to think about reality in compartments. And this generates the fact that we often live our life governed by a sense of separation, okay? Looking at everything as a duality. Here is me, there is you, we are separate. So your interests are different by mine, and so on. So this means also that it's important not to live a life with this sense of separation, because when you live a life with this sense of constant duality and separation, we tend to look at the other person as a potential source of suffering. Or we tend to look at certain events or situations as a potential source of suffering. For example, when we are in a loving relationship and we don't perceive to be all one, you look at the other person and your logical mind tends to look at the other person as a potential source of suffering because this person can cheat on you, can break up with you, right? So this is, in my opinion, is one of the most important problems in loving relationships. Okay, even if you have a job, when you don't perceive that we are all one, and this means that you don't trust the universe, you don't trust the flow of life, we start to look at life from a scarcity perspective. So, for example, if I lose you, I won't find any other partner. Okay, if I lose my job, I won't find any other good job. So it's very, very important to understand that when we perceive this universal interconnection, we start to live life more in peace because we start to trust the universe, we start to trust the flow of life and to understand that the universe loves us, okay? And there is nothing to be scared about, okay? So here is the thing, when you start to feel interconnected, when we become one with the universe, when we become the universe, automatically we stop living life driven by our ego. As you know, the ego is in a constant search of security and protection, which is why we tend, when we live an egoic style of life, we look at the other person, like I said, as a potential source of suffering. Now, what happened in my life, for example, is that in the past, because probably coming from divorced parents, I was jumping from a relation to another because I didn't allow the other person to get too close to me. Okay, so I probably was not able to open up to the other person or to allow the other person to get close to me. A big change happened when I understood and I started to perceive to be one with the universe, when I started to surrender to the flow of life. Okay, when I started to open up to love, when I started to surrender to love. And when this happens, when this vibrational, energetic change happens and you merge with the universe, immediately the universe responds. And that is when I manifested John, for example, right? So it's important to understand that until we do not surrender to our feelings, means if you are in love with someone, if you want to find your soulmate, okay, you have to become first ready to express your love. You have to become first ready to feel the love and express your love. You have to become ready to give love. Until you don't feel this opening in your heart, okay, to be able to love, it's very difficult that the perfect person will appear in your life, because you will still living from a sort of a fearful position, right? So you want to find the perfect soulmate, the perfect soulmate that it doesn't make you suffer. Okay, so we start thinking from a scarcity perspective, from a fearful point of view. So when you start to surrender to love, then is when magic happens. And also important to understand that when you are in a relationship and you are in love with the other person, you have to open up and feel free to express your love, to communicate your love to the other person without being scared that this person could consider you weak. Many times this is what happens. We don't communicate that we are in love, or we don't express our love because we think that by doing that we show our weakness. Okay? So the law of correspondence says that your inner world will always reflect in your outer world. So as soon as you will open up and express your love, automatically the other person will be encouraged to do the same. So if you want to love, you have to give love first, right? And that is why it's so important communication in a couple, to have a happy and fulfilling relationship, because as soon as you will always express your feeling related to the other person, but also related to certain situation. For example, your partner goes out with friends, he or she goes to dance, and you start thinking, oh, maybe she or he will meet someone, or he or she will cheat on me. That is coming from your ego, from living life with a constant sense of contrast, with a constant sense of duality, with the constantly seeing the other person, including your partner, as a separate. We also have to understand, when you surrender to the flow of life, you are not anymore scared about anything, because you understand, you perceive that everything that happens in your life, it happens for a reason. It happens because it contains a lesson for you to learn and grow. So you start to be concerned and scared, okay? So again, this is what happened in my life. I was able to understand that merging with the universe and understanding that surrendering to love is the first thing that needed to be done in my life to manifest my soulmate. And this happens, and I manifested John, right? So I really hope that this short video was useful. By the way, I would like you to know that John and I, we are working on several videos that they will be available in our YouTube channel, Manifesting Miracles, where we will dig more into these kind of topics, and we will expand on the topic of how to apply the 12 spiritual laws of the universe in your life to manifest your soulmate and to have a fulfilling and happy, loving relationship. Okay? So stay tuned. Thank you very much for spending some time with me, and have a great day.